So we're going to have a little look at how Gmail works. To start with, we go to the compose. Here you can obviously compose a message. So I'm just going to send a message from this account to myself. Down the bottom here, you can format it to look a certain way. You can attach files. You can attach stuff from Google Drive, images, links, and emojis if that's what makes you happy. Obviously, send. So that's very simple. That's how you would send a message. Then you can open messages. So for example, here we've got this message and then you've got the same. You've got reply, which is just to reply to the person who sent the message. Reply all should only ever be used if everybody needs to hear what you have to say. Normally, you would just use the reply. And forward is if you're forwarding this message to somebody else. There's obviously other things like filter and block, etc., etc. But those are things that if you want more information about, the big three that you'll be using is those three there. Also in your inbox, you've got a few more functionality. You have this place where you can click on Starred. And when you click on the Starred and go to the Starred box, it will just show the ones that have been starred for you there. On yours, there is a shape that will allow you to click on it to say important. You have one that's important. It's the same idea. And basically, it allows you to select ones that you want to be flagged for later use. Then we're going to move across the top. Here, move to. I will show you after I've shown you labels. So at the moment, these are the ones that come with the program, but you probably won't use those so much. So say I wanted a label that was PSHE because I had some stuff. I would create a new label and I can either just create that or I can nest it, which means I might have, for example, MYP and then each of the units. So I'm going to create that one there. And I'm then going to create another label. I'm just going to untick that so they don't all go... Oh. And I'm going to create another label. I'm going to call it homeroom. So you can just see how these work. So that's my homeroom, and then I'm going to create it. Now at the moment, this has been attached to this, which I don't want. So I can just take those two ticks off there. So it's got nothing attached. Now say, for example, this one here, this Gmail one here, these three. These were all something to do with my homeroom. So they get the homeroom tab. But this particular one here was also to do with PSHE. I could give it the PSHE tab. If I just wanted to find out everything to do with PSHE, for example, I could click on there. Sorry, homeroom, for example, I could click on there and it would show me everything to do with homeroom. I didn't add the PSHE, that's why that one's not there. So let me just tick it in. And then if I wanted to find the PSHE, I'll find the article that's opposed to that. Now the problem is that means all the emails will still stay in here. Now for some of you don't like that. You like to have them organized so they're actually in the folder and they're not just here with a tab. You can do that. Every time that you've created a label, you've also created these and you can manage them through here or here. So if, for example, I actually wanted these two not to be here, but I wanted to drag them and I could put them into the homeroom there, or I'd go to here and click on homeroom there. Now they've disappeared from here and they're in homeroom, but can you see this one says inbox and these two don't? That's because they belong in here, so they don't need to have this tab. This one, however, is still in the inbox. If I drag this one back into the inbox, it now says it's in the inbox, but the tag to it is still in here. So you don't have to move things into these labels. Basically, you can keep everything in here and just label it, or you can drag it if you like the way that's organized. So that's the moving and the labeling. When you go down to more, you can mark stuff as read, unread, important, not important. These are just similar things that you've used before. At the top here, you can search. If you click on the drop-down menu here, you can search who it's from, to, subjects, words it includes, words it doesn't have, greater than it for a size, and the date. So all you would need to do is type in what you're interested in. So I want to know what's from Gmail. I go on my search and it will bring up anything that's from Gmail. Clearly you could type that in as well, but I actually find this is quite a nice way to do it. So that's showing you from that area there. Obviously you've got spam bin, etc., etc., but I mean those things are what you would probably be used to before. Under the mail, you've got mail, but then you've got contacts. So if I go into contacts here, I can actually add a new group if I wanted. So I'm just going to call this group test. And then I would then add people to my test group. So I'm going to add me. Now when you do this, it will find the name because you'll be using a proper email account. I'm using an incognito one just so that I don't accidentally give out information. So that's my email address. So I've added me to this group, and you can add who you wanted. And the beautiful thing is then when you're trying to mail somebody and you compose a letter, if I write test, it automatically will put every member of that group in. So nobody has to know what you call your group names because they'll never see that. All they do is they get the mail. Then finally, you've got something called tasks. Now tasks are a lovely thing because what tasks allow you to do is basically a list of things to do, and you can attach that list to an email. And once you've attached it to an email, you can also add it through the calendar to your calendar. So you can, it's a due date, what do you want to do, move it to the list, what actions do you want attached to it. So this would be an email one that I'd add there, or I could print it. Tasks are really nice. If you want to know a lot more about them, I'm happy to do some work with you. So that is a quick overview of the Gmail capability.